Welcome. This is CTSB TV's COVID-19 Conversations, and I'm your host, Mitch Kruzna. My guest today is Father Chris Alar, a member of the Marian Fathers of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary in Stockbridge, Massachusetts here. And Father Chris is the director of the Marian Helper Center, and he's also recently published a book called After Suicide, There is Hope for Them and You. Welcome, Father Chris.
Thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about the Marian Helper Center and your position in there.
Well, actually, we're one of the larger employers in Stockbridge, one of the largest, if not in this area. We have close to 100 employees here on Eden Hill. We are a religious Catholic organization of priests and brothers that has, for 350 years, been serving the Catholic Church, and specifically this area since the early 1940s. And we've been a part of the culture here in Stockbridge for a while, going back before even the years where most of us were born, and at the time of Norman Rockwell and others. But this is a beautiful opportunity for us to spread through this message of video to those in the surrounding areas, Lee, Lenox, Stockbridge, that we are honored to be part of the community. The Marian Helper Center is a branch of the Marian Fathers of the Immaculate Conception, again, a religious order of priests and brothers. And the Marian Helper Center is the headquarters for the Association of Marian Helpers, which is our lay group that helps share in our mission of spreading divine mercy, God's divine mercy to the world. And it's a group of laity that helps us through prayers and funding. And our employees help carry this out to the world in the form of the printed word. So prayer cards, books, pamphlets, all this type of evangelization, just letting the word of Christ be known to the world.
That's great. I heard tell that there's a special anniversary this year for the Marians.
Yeah, we were founded 350 years ago.
Wow.
Not here in Stockbridge, but in Poland. And we were the first men's community founded in Poland, and the first in the world to bear the title Immaculate Conception. And so we've been spreading divine mercy, for years, specifically after St. Faustina. But we go back 350 years, and we've been in America only the last century, but and specifically in Stockbridge since the early 40s, as I said. But we have roots, and the neighbors here have been great. So we are giving back as much as we can in terms of spiritual food during this time of pandemic.
So basically, how has the pandemic affected the Marian Helper Center and basically the Eden Hill in the overall look of overall?
Yeah, it's a little scary because we've been feeling the effects as everybody has. We're being completely obedient to the governor's edict, which is now the lockdown has been extended to May 18th. It was thought to be May 4th, but we are very much in line. We've been working with the health department. Only essential employees are here on the grounds. Over 70% of our employees are actually home, working from home. Unfortunately, we've been impacted negatively. We've had to do some furloughs, and so we ask for prayers for our employees to be able to get through these times. We know that a lot of companies, especially nonprofits, are having to lay off, let go, and cut back on their staff. And so we're praying that we can survive. And so far, the support's been very good. We're just a little worried, but we trust in the Lord that this will continue to get better, and the people will be returning to work soon.
Let's hope and pray for that, and also a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, there was the Divine Mercy Sunday celebration that you usually celebrated up on Eden Hill, and how was that affected?
Yeah, normally, and the townspeople some love it, some don't like it so much, but we bring about 25,000 people for the weekend.
Wow.
Some don't like it because the crowds and parking are hard. Others, the merchants, like it because we bring a lot of business to the area, from restaurants, hotels, things like that, tourist areas. But that's all been canceled this year. We were one of the first organizations in the whole region to cancel our big event this year. We were proactive in canceling after the word of the virus spread. No pun intended. But we have normally a big stake in this weekend called Divine Mercy, which is the Sunday after Easter, because that's a big opportunity for us to raise funds for our ministry, and that didn't happen this year. So we've had to turn to online activities, posting of masses, prayers, spiritual resources for the people. And again, they've responded very well. So we're hoping to keep feeding the sheep, as they say, with spiritual food.
Mm. Yeah. So how did the Marians get involved with the Divine Mercy message and devotion?
Well, it goes back, as I mentioned earlier, when we came to Stockbridge in the 1940s. We had a priest in Poland named Father Joseph Jarzembowski, who actually knew the confessor of St. Faustina, who Christ appeared to in the 1930s to bring this message and devotion, the message anew and the devotion brand new to the world. And her confessor entrusted some of the work and the writings to our priest, and he brought it over to America, went to Detroit, Washington, D.C., and then ultimately Stockbridge, where we're now the headquarters, really, of the Divine Mercy movement. You can see us on places like EWTN and other Catholic networks spreading this information and this message right from here, the headquarters right in Stockbridge.
Wow, that's great. It's just really blessed to have such a worldwide organization that is such a powerful message for these times we are in, especially this pandemic that we're experiencing. Right. Now, so the Marian Helper Center and the Marians have been able to adapt to what's been happening through their live streams. What is the schedule for the daily live streams, and how can people access those live streams?
Yeah, it's with the churches being closed, we're finding a lot of people reaching out through the online resources, Catholics and non-Catholics. For Catholics who wish to attend Mass but cannot because their churches are closed, we offer Masses. For others who want to pray with us, like the Divine Mercy Chaplet, we broadcast that, as well as the Rosary. Masses in Spanish we have been doing. But the schedule is every day at 9 a.m. on our Facebook page, which is the name of the Facebook page is Divine Mercy Official. We live stream the Mass, and then it's available later to watch upon a recorded copy in the day on our our webpage at thedivinemercy.org. And you can find it there. We also broadcast, as I said, the Chaplet of Divine Mercy and the Rosary as well. So, and we're working on trying to reinstitute the Spanish Mass. But a lot of reaching out. I've been doing talks, videos, reaching out to the people and trying to provide them something during this time of quarantine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw a video just this morning about your new DVD set of talks that you had just produced. So
yeah. So yes, we invite anybody who would like to learn more about our faith to please visit shopmercy.org. And we have a new DVD series out there that teaches you everything you ever want to know, whether you love the Catholic faith or you're skeptical of it and want to learn more. Because remember, you can't, we always say you got to understand something before you can judge it. So please, we invite you, for those Catholics who want to go deeper in their faith, or for those non-Catholics who want to engage in any kind of a charitable discussion as friends on learning about each other's faith in an ecumenical kind of way, we would invite that and love that, especially from our Protestant brothers and sisters in the area as well.
That's really It's really a great way to reach out and to show, people have misconceptions sometimes of what the Catholic Church believes, and here you have everything spelled out right in front of them. So,
This DVD is a great way to learn that. There was a great bishop in the Catholic Church called Fulton Sheen,
mm,
and he had a quote one time that said, millions of people hate what they think is the Catholic Church.
mm,
He said, but very few people hate what actually is the Catholic Church.
mm,
So
mm,
they that was a statement that a lot of our non-Catholic brothers maybe may not understand. We don't worship Mary; they think we worship Mary or something like that. And I think that's our fault, really, as Catholics. I don't think we have done a good job in the last
mm,
decades of teaching others, including our own children,
mhm,
about the Catholic faith.
mhm,
And that causes a lot of skepticism and misunderstandings.
mhm.
So I look in the mirror right at ourselves to say that we missed the opportunity to teach and educate our children as well as our neighbors, family, friends about what our faith teaches. And so that's the point of the DVD, is to try to get back to what is the true teaching of the church.
That's great. I was like, Bishop Sheehan um, was a great evangelizer, and his TV show was so popular. And I think maybe the new live stream is going to be the new evangelization. It'll open it wide for everybody to see and to easily visit um, about the Catholic Church. And have you seen any people who are questioning and looking into the Catholic Church through the live streams and
Yeah, we've got a lot of people asking about divine mercy, non-Catholics, fallen away Catholics. So we're counting on the Lord. If we can just plant a seed, that He can do the rest.
That's great. Going back to Mercy Sunday this year, the live streams, had you seen a drop off or an increase in the
Well, this is the
viewers?
first year that we did a full bore live stream approach. We've always been on EWTN, which is a Catholic network, in here in the United States, called the Eternal Word Television Network.
Hmm.
And we've always gone through that. But this year was extra special because not only did the viewership skyrocket on EWTN, our normal channel of marketing and viewership, but we had our own live streaming as well throughout the day that people tapped into. So we're very pleased. Millions of people tuned in.
That's amazing. That's great. So the faith is there, and the hope is there, and this message of divine mercy gives us hope, and especially this is like when the rubber hits the road for people of faith. This is where our faith should be in action right now. So
Yeah,
um,
this is the time we can do a lot. Don't waste our time at home on the couch, as I teased one of our employees watching Miami Vice reruns. Get out there and even if getting out there means through a computer, but learn a little bit more about God so you can love Him. You can't love what you don't know. So now is a great chance to get to know God a little more, to love Him a little more, and you can do some great works of mercy right from your own home by praying for other people, by doing some spiritual reading about how to
mm,
improve our life of virtue,
mhm.
and just getting out there and be charitable to our friends and family through kind emails and things like that.
Yeah, it's we especially the way things are. People, a lot elderly people are shut in. If you can call them or and drop off some food for them, or just be present to people who are lonely, and there's a lot of stress out there. Now, I know you just wrote a book recently on suicide, and there's hope for them and for you. Um, is there a worry that suicide rates, because of all this anxiety and doubt um, with this pandemic, maybe give a little bit of your insights on that?
That's a very good question. We do know for a fact that the number of calls to suicide hotlines has greatly increased. We know there are actual stories of even ER doctors. There was just another story. There was one in Italy. Now there's one in New York City where the ER doctors took their life. There was a story of another woman, a nurse who took her life because she had the coronavirus and didn't want to pass it on to others. So we know that the calls and inquiries into the hotlines, suicide hotlines, are raising. I have not yet seen any actual numbers. I think we are going to see an increase. This is why we wrote the book, to be able to, it's hard enough when we lose someone, but then to think that their soul is lost, in addition to their lives being lost, just adds trauma to us in that kind of experience. Now, the book, although it's called After Suicide, there's hope for them and for you. And it does obviously have a big part about suicide, the stories and examples we use, for instance. But the principles apply not just to suicide. Spiritual principles that we list in that book to how to get through pain and suffering apply to any kind of loss, whether we've lost someone to cancer, natural causes, accident, whatever it might be. So we try to tell people that this book is something that really touches home with people, not just by suicide or loss therein, but rather any kind of traumatic, any kind of trauma of losing someone that we love. So please, we recommend it if you've gone through and experienced such a loss, that this book can really help. It talks about the power of prayer. It talks about, and the reality too, not just that, some people after the death of a loved one can't even pray. We understand that, and we give these principles how to get forward, even if it's not something that you think you can do. There's a lot of things that you can do.
Mm. I think it's a topic, that we kind of tiptoe around, and but I think this message is very timely right now, and there is hope, and just suffering is a part of life, and we can become stronger to get through the suffering. Now, just came to my mind, how are your employees handling the not being their change of life, and then working from home, or how have they come to you and talked to you a little bit about how they're feeling about what's going on?
There's naturally some fear. We have
Mm.
employees who've expressed that fear. We've instituted several policies in the center, such as our vendors who come to the door. We no longer, unfortunately, can allow our restrooms to be used by the public, which we normally used to always do. Vendors coming in must wear masks. And just recently, I've instituted the mandate that even our employees have to wear masks if there's meetings or they are gathering in the hallways or there's conversations. We have to be cognizant of the social distancing. And we're doing all we can to reduce those risks.
Yeah, I think has people being away from the mask physically, and going to the either daily mass or mass on Sundays. Do you think that the live stream has kind of been a bridge to help to heal the separation? And
Yeah, because right now it's all we have, with the church being closed and an uncertainty even amongst the bishops about when masses will come back. Am I still getting grace? We're teaching that absolutely God's not going to punish you for something that's not your fault. Many people would be in the churches if they were open. So, remember, as Catholics, we are bound to the sacraments, but God is not. And so if God is not bound to the sacraments, we have to understand that we can still get grace. And we receive those graces through things like spiritual acts of contrition, just telling God that we're sorry. spiritual communions, that we are able to ask God for the grace of receiving him in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
The key is to just have the intent to go back to the sacraments when the church is open back up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that, I don't want people to think, oh, the church said it's okay now not to have to go to mass. No, when the church is open back up,
Mm-hmm.
we need to return to the sacraments.
That's right. But what's good is, like, if you're sitting at home and you're like just wasting, you can log right on and just be a part of it. And
Instead of visiting those sites that are going to bring you a downfall, visit the sites that are going to build you in grace and virtue.
mm-hmm.
You have a big choice right now to make in between your choices, now more than ever. And so make those right choices.
Yeah, definitely. It helps with your outlook, and it gives you a lot. Even though things are crazy out there, it gives you some peace and some stability, and you can make a difference in your life and others. And I think the topic of your book would even be another possibility of another even conversation with you in the future. So that would be it. It is a definite possibility, because
Right.
people are hurting, and people are looking for answers. So some people turn to drugs and alcohol for answers, but they're never satisfied, or they look at the internet, or they
Yeah, we talked about that in the book. Actually, those are the false gods, the pseudo gods.
mm,
The corona is a good example. We used to call, the chaplet of divine mercy used to be called the corona of mercy.
oh,
And I think part of the reason why this was named the virus was the corona, is God showing us that these things that we've made our gods, money, or in my case, sports, or entertainment, has now
mm-hmm.
been curtailed, not permanently, but temporarily, so our Lord can make a mark that he's the true God, not money or sports or entertainment.
That's certainly true. Sometimes we forget the most important things are the things that are core to our life, like our faith, our family, and I think that's kind of maybe God's way of bringing those things back into our focus,
Mm-hmm.
because of all the things that are distracting us. And
Yes.
we can't go to see movie theaters, we can't go to see a sporting event or concerts, and like, oh,
Right.
what are we going to do now? There's a lot we can do.
Right.
So well, Father Chris, I guess we're getting close to our time here. I just want to thank you for sharing with us, and for joining us and talking about how things have been affected. And it's encouraging to see that there's a place we can come to visit, and to go online, and to see.
Absolutely. Please, it won't be forever. We know the doors will be opening back up. So please, to all you viewers here in the local area, Great Barrington, Lee, Lenox, Stockbridge, Pittsfield, please come visit. And these doors will be opening soon. So we just keep praying that we can return to normal here, get some normalcy back in our lives. And
Definitely.
until then, take advantage of your time that God's given you with your family, and a chance to grow closer to him.
Definitely. So it's a beautiful place. The grounds are beautiful. They just renovated the shrine inside, and it's definitely it's you can see it. You can see it on the live streams how beautiful the place is, and how.
Yeah, our live streaming has been really accelerated just this last month, and through the hard work of the brothers here, especially Brother Mark, has been able to get us to reaching millions of souls that we otherwise would not have reached. So we hope to actually continue that ministry even after the virus goes
Oh,
away.
I was just going to.
We can't with the same intensity, but we hope to train more brothers and
Mhm.
and priests and brothers into being able to carry on this ministry. So
Mhm.
we appreciate any help anybody can give us, because we weren't prepared for this.
Mhm.
We didn't have the proper training, we didn't have the proper equipment. As I said, Brother Mark has been having to find equipment on the internet as cheap as he can. So if there's anybody out there that wants to feel that they can help spread this message of mercy, if God places on your heart at all to help us get this word out there. We're in desperate need of equipment and training and online services that can help us reach the world. And we are literally reaching the world. We are. I've heard from Dubai. I've heard from Qatar. I've heard from United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. I've heard from Africa. I've heard from all over Europe, Spain, Germany, Portugal, and of course here in the United States, Canada, Mexico, even a lot of South America. So we're really reaching far and wide.
So
God's finally taking back the internet instead of it just being just garbage. Now a lot of the garbage is still there, but now
Mhm.
He's making His presence felt, and we're part of that.
Amen. Well,
Amen.
Father Chris, thank you so much for taking time. And like I said, maybe there's another chance we can visit again. Father Chris Alar for visiting with us, and my name is Mitch Kruzna. We'd like to thank you for joining us, and have a good day.
All right. Thank you, and God bless you.